Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Clay Knives, and welcome back to the second part of my The Dark Knight Rises review. Because we got a lot of time to spend in this casino. Oh god, we got a lot of time to spend here. We got 2 more Gilded Falcons. We're good on the heart piece in this room, but we got a lot of work. So let's play a game. Make my Gilder. Round 1, 12 points. Nice little baseline I got going here. It's a perfect score. Yes. Now, as The Dark Knight Rises goes, I couldn't disagree more with the negative reviews. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say that Harry Knowles' review on Ain't It Cool News has completely destroyed any remaining credibility I had for him as a reviewer. I'm going to address why I think Harry Knowles doesn't like the film. Fuck that one up. And then I'm going to address why I think most of the critics are radically misinterpreting this film, and I feel over time, when the spectacle ceases, and even though the film's plot holes will become more apparent, I do feel that its true quality will only be recognized in the years to come. I think it's better than The Dark Knight. Blasphemy, I know. But the reason why Harry Knowles, let's talk a little about Harry Knowles. This is a man who gave The Amazing Spider-Man a glowing review. This is a man who defended Van Helsing, and a man who raved about Attack of the Clones, which is universally regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. And go look up his review on that. Glowing. Oh, we barely got that. Yes. Alright. I actually think this round is easier because the rock moves faster. Oh, we're fucked. Harry is the kind of reviewer who has grown around movies so much that he has formed intense emotional attachments to them. Almost religious and certainly sexual in nature. As a result of this, he cannot look past his own nostalgia as far as properties are concerned, and his love for them. Harry Knowles does not want anything that challenges the status quo. Harry Knowles only wants something that's familiar. This is why he likes movies like Spider-Man and Van Helsing and The Clone and Attack of the Clones, because even though these movies are awful, I haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man yet. I've seen Van Helsing and Attack of the Clones. They're both horrendous movies, and they're both extremely boring movies. But the reason Harry Knowles accepts these movies is because they hit all the familiar beats for him to have like a nostalgic, love connection to them. Like, you have Jedi, you have Death Star, you have Spider-Man, you have the Lizard, you have whatever's in Van Helsing. And as a result, these beats are hit for Harry, so as a result, he looks past gaping plot holes. And let me tell you, Attack of the Clones and Van Helsing has some huge motherfucking plot holes. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Attack of the Clones does too. Don't shoot the chicken. So, and this is why he doesn't like The Dark Knight Rises, because God forbid someone takes an established property and tries to do something new with the characters, definitively end them, take them in a direction where their archetypes are... I'm probably fucking with that chicken. Where their archetypes are used to examine different aspects of society and fundamentally alter the characters in different ways. Perhaps even mess with the notion that this is not a comic book and that eventually the Batman would, dare I say, maybe retire. Regardless, these archetypes were played with in a fundamental way which made the progression of the Batman character and the other characters in The Dark Knight Rises, I thought, very natural given the events of the first two films. This film very much ties into Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. And I thought the progression was very natural based on what those characters had experienced in those previous films, but was perhaps not what you would normally expect from a Batman mythos, because some of what happens goes against the established Batman mythos, but at the same time feels organic based on what happened on the previous two movies. Because this is different than what Harry Knowles grew up with and loved, it is instantly rejected. Harry Knowles' Dark Knight Rises attack is a personal attack against the movie. And this was a man who, and because of this, he absolutely refuses to forgive any of the plot holes in this movie that in, say, Spider-Man or Van Helsing or Attack of the Clones, Harry Knowles couldn't give two fucking shits about. I think this is honestly the truth. And it's also a Nolan thing, because he kind of shat on Inception, and for plot hole purposes, which, again, this is a man who has defended ungodly numbers of crap movies. Probably fucked from hitting that chicken. Yes, I am. Fucked. This is why this, and I always knew this about Harry reading his reviews, but this has caused me to believe that his nostalgic love for what he expects an established film property to be, and granted I need to see the movie a second time, but you know I'm ranting on it now because I'm shooting slimes in Alundra, has completely destroyed for me any shred of credibility I thought he had as a reviewer. And yeah, I respect his opinion. Everyone has their own, but personally I think he's a big fat fucking ginger idiot. But, you know, he makes a living going to movie premieres, and I play Alundra and talk to myself. So, who is the fool, and who is the fool ranting about the fool, huh? 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 God damn it. This is why I need to get Oksana playing video games. Be like, here, go shoot these things. Anyway, now the second issue, why I think The Dark Knight Rises is being hopelessly misinterpreted by the critics, and in time, when a few years pass, its legacy will become even more awesomely apparent. There's a lot of debate going on, and it centers among two camps. Fuck! You have the one camp who's saying that there shouldn't have been any real-life political work put into the film, and the only reason these people like any of the class warfare that's in the film, and the people who are saying this are only saying this because they don't understand it, and it confuses them, and, well, that's why they're writing reviews for movies instead of making movies. God, if you hit one chicken, you're fucked. You pretty much gotta hit every one of these spots. Hold on, let me focus on this. Ah! You might still have it. No, we didn't get it. God, this is why I'm doing a Dark Knight Rises review right here. Okay. It is, and then you got the other critics who are saying, well, is this a reactionary response to the Occupy Wall Street movement? And are they supporting Tea Party rhetoric with a billionaire philanthropist saving the city from a rampaging mob? Or how does that work? Because earlier it seems like they have sympathy for the Occupy movement and the character of Selina Kyle, and Bane wants to bring civil unrest and destroy the city. I don't understand. Which way is correct? Well, moron, none of those interpretations are correct. You're looking at through the narrow scope of acting like this class warfare is the first time this has ever happened in the course of history. This is not a commentary on our specific mode of class warfare that is occurring right now. No. It is a commentary on this situation on a whole. The movie is a commentary on revolutions and they're leading into fascism. I think the movie is an allegorical representation of revolution, specifically the communist revolution, because you had a very disenfranchised populace who had no power whatsoever, were getting poorer and poorer, dying for nothing. You had a wealthy elite who had complete control and was doing nothing with the money except losing the money and their little corporate ventures. It's exactly like Tsarist Russia. We have become like Tsarist Russia. We have become like the Soviet Union at the end of communism. And what this is talking about is the men who come in to exploit this atmosphere of revolution. Like Lenin and Stalin cared nothing for the people. Neither did Yeltsin, for that matter. These were individuals who cared only about power and the promulgation of their idea. And they preyed on the hopes and needs of a desperate populace to sweep that wave to achieve their goals. This is a commentary on how revolutions based upon noble ideals such as assistance to the downtrodden, not bailing out failing companies, are eventually distorted by the leaders of said revolution, whether you're Tea Party or whatever, or Occupy, and how governments fall and turn to totalitarianisms. This is a metaphor. Fucking Talia al Ghul is Lenin and Bane is Stalin. It is using that framework as an exploration of what a revolution would actually mean in this nation, and it would be like every other revolution has ever gone in history. The poor who stand beside the leaders are always exploited by the new leaders, and the old leaders are killed in the name of justice, and nothing changes except power is further grasped in the hands of the few. You have exceptions. I mean, the American Revolution power was put in the hands of the few, but it was being taken from the fewer. But that is what The Dark Knight Rises is about. And it's about the redemption of the Batman symbol against that. And the removal of that from resting on one man and having it pass to John Blake. The redemption of the Batman symbol allows the Batman to not be Bruce Wayne. It allows it to be anyone. And it allows that symbol to be passed on, because it's very easy to create a new symbol and have that be the golden point of change. When a symbol is corrupted, the natural response is to destroy it in favor of another. This is how revolutions are formed. It is very difficult to redeem an old symbol, and if you can do that, it becomes truly something universal. And that's what this movie's about. Is it about the redemption of the Batman symbol, or is it about the triumph of the true nature of the League of Shadows, which is complete fascist destruction and the sacrifice of the people at any cost? There is a lot going on in this movie that I think a lot of people do not understand. And they're being very short-sighted because of the shooting. They're being very short-sighted because of today's current polarizing beliefs. And they're being very short-sighted because the movie is not what they expected. And this is... And the rant would have been a little more ranty if I didn't have to focus on shooting blobs. But I'm dead fucking serious about this. This, and is it muddled? Sure. I don't understand why they established a time frame of 8 minutes at the Wall Street Exchange, and then it goes from day to complete night in 8 minutes. I don't understand that. I don't understand how Bruce Wayne escapes from the prison and is magically back in Gotham when all the bridges are destroyed and it's been established no one can walk across the ice. I mean, I guess it's just because it's Batman. I do believe the U.S.'s response is believable in this situation. I do believe they think Bane is dead serious about deploying the nuke. And I'm just spoiling all over the place. I mean, you've either seen the movie or you haven't. But this is my philosophical treatise on the movie. I think it's... and I know it's disjointed because I'm focusing on shooting these blobs. And no one will ever see this. But I think this movie is being horribly misunderstood. Horribly misunderstood. It might be brilliant. In fact, it might even be ahead of its time. And this is I'm stunned by the negative reviews, and most of them are coming from people I consider to be complete morons. The Nostalgia Critic, yeah, I think he's a complete idiot and a huge sellout. Harry Knowles I was a little surprised by, but you know, he gets emotional. And I don't know, there's been very few reviews that I've written about that have been deemed favorable, and there's very few reviews written about that have touched on these themes I'm addressing. And I'm a little worried. I feel as if I feel time will be a lot kinder to this movie, and I think subsequent viewings will reward the patient. And I'm fucking... There's gonna be 2 movies of the future. It's like the nostalgia chick Lindsay Ellis, I think her name is. Said, Michael Bay's changed filmmaking to where action sequences are expected, and where movies have become escapist entertainment. Like, you're going to them to tune out, and that is the nature of cinema. And the days of the independent cinema, when everyone was going to a movie like Pulp Fiction, are gone. Now, Pulp Fiction succeeded in its intellectual discourses, and a lot of movies did it at the time, even with the Pulp Fiction clones, because Pulp Fiction had the ultra-violence in the set. Well, most of the ultra-violence. Christopher Nolan is taking the Michael Bay format of spectacle, and I like his style. Film stock, no CGI unless it augments. And those crowd scenes, those are really hundreds of extras. Really trucks fighting each other on the road. There are really multiple caravans of trucks. It's all real. It's all built. And you can feel it in the movie. And as a result of that old school sensibility, he is reinvigorating thoughtful epic, because he is taking that Michael Bay style without the CGI and marrying it to something intellectual. And audiences want the spectacle, but I don't think they know how to deal with the thought. And I think in time we are seeing with this movie the new breed of the independent cinema. This movie is now independent cinema. It has gone mainstream. This is the future of independent thought in movies. Did I get it? I did. This movie, I believe, is ahead of its time. I really believe it's ahead of its time. Or, you know, maybe it's really awful and I don't know any better, but I doubt it. I am gonna see it again. I almost went tonight, but I'm kind of exhausted. I'm glad I didn't. I forgot I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow. But ahead of its time. I think this movie is being criminally shafted. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. I got it. Alright. This douchebag's gonna want one more win for the Falcon before I break the game. That's what I think about The Dark Knight Rises on closer inspection. State what I saw it. I was ridiculously hungover. I was with my sister. And I was hungover in a manner of slight headache and some twitching. I wasn't out of it. I was definitely able to pay attention to the movie. And I loved it. Not as much as I love playing this, of course. I mean, my god, I just... Please, for the love of God, I just want to play more Alundra, where I shoot casino games for Gilded Falcons for game-breaking weapons that are going to make the last dungeon a joke. When I go to that last dungeon with the Spirit Wand and King Snow's sword, which will give me a sword that does 52 damage with one hit, or a weapon that gives me unlimited magic, you're just going to watch me coast through that last dungeon. I'm gonna get in there and just like rip Melzaz's head off. Did I get it? So that's my discourse. You get a little something extra today. No problem. It's that kind of special day. Who would play these games? Who would gamble in this casino? I want answers. This from the man who's going to go to Atlantic City in a week and a half. I gotta put in those days. I gotta organize that tomorrow. I really can't fucking